Hello everyone, it's Kari from sunshineinmypocket.com, and today I'm excited to share this kit with you. This is the new All the Feels kit from Erin Lee Creative, and it is filled with so much goodness. Oh, okay, so I am going to open this up and share with you everything that comes in the kit, and then I've got 4 cards to share with you as well. So this video, stay tuned because you're going to see some ideas for creating with all of these things, and it was so much fun. I mean, just so much fun. There's so many great things. Now, those little smiley faces inside, I'm going to try to save those and keep those for a shaker card. This bag is beautiful too. I think this would make a beautiful card decoration. So I'm saving all of those, but look at this stencil you get in the kit. It has all these emojis on it. It's going to be great for making a card. Then you get these dies, the happy face and the frowny face. This little stamp set has everything you need to create some great emojis. Look at those sunglasses. I'm definitely going to be using those today, but lots of different faces that you can make, and those hearts, I'm going to use those as well. Then you also get this stamp set that has all of these different sentiments on it. You give me all the feels, you got me like, you make me happy, sending smiles, lots of different sentiments, and they're perfect because they look like those, those labels, the Dymo labels. So I love that, and you can stamp them in different colors as well. So let's get started with this stencil. I think that you could probably detach all of these little smiley faces from the stencil if you want, but they are attached with some little, they just have a few little things that are holding them in here. So I decided to keep the faces on and do this background in a rainbow of colors. I've got some distress inks here, and I'm just going to use some blending brushes to put all of those on in a row. So pink, orange, yellow, and green. It's so easy to do, and look at all the faces that you get. Really, really cute. So I really like this stencil. I have a lot of different ideas. I think also you could cut out, if you have a small circle die, you could cut out each of these faces and create something that's more dimensional as well. So many ideas. Now I'm just going to do a simple card with this one, starting out simple. I'm going to use a couple of these sentiments from this stamp set, and I'm going to stamp them in some varying colors. Since I didn't use blue and purple in my rainbow of the smiley faces, I'm going to use some blue and purple on the sentiments, and that will complete our rainbow of colors. So I've got a couple of Catherine Pooler inks here, and I'm just going to stamp those out, and then I'll cut them out to be sentiment strips, and then I'm cutting down this panel so that I can fit it on that rainbow paper there on the left, just like that. So that's going to really make it pop with the rainbows. I'll just attach all of these things to create a card. It says, "You're so cool, you make me happy." And I pop those up with some foam tape. And there is our first card. I'll just attach that to a card base. And for my next card, I'm going to add blue to this one. So I pulled out my blue distress ink. And for this one, I'm going to simply ink up the background with a rainbow of colors. So I'm taking my blending brushes and I'm going to do this. I kind of skipped over the rest of that because I'm a little bit slow in my ink blending, but no worries. The magic of editing allows me to skip through all of that. And now I have this beautiful rainbow stencil, also from Erin Lee Creative, and I'm going to use the same colors to ink on this stencil. So it'll be tone on tone. When I pull this off, you'll see that we've got color on color here for this background. And isn't this a beautiful background for one of those smiley faces? I'm going to take some yellow paper here and stamp out a face to go on this background that we just created. And I'm using black ink. I started stamping the circle, just the circle with black, and then I realized, I could stamp all of this at the same time with black. So I went ahead and pulled out a couple other stamps here to complete my smiley face with the sunglasses, of course. Had to use those sunglasses, I love them. And I'm going to stamp all of those at the same time using some black ink, and then I will heat emboss it with some clear embossing powder. So this is going to give it some dimension, make it stand out just a little bit. Here I've added the embossing powder and now I'm just heat setting that. And to give it some dimension, I am using the yellow ink to just blend some ink around the edges. And this will make it stand out just a little bit. It's tough to see on the video. It's a little bit subtle, but I think it really does add a little something to this smiley face guy. Then I'll take my circle die here. I'm just going to cut that right out. This is going to go right on our rainbow card, and it's going to cover up a little blemish I had there in the middle, which is perfectly perfect. And now I will use this die cut. This says Good Vibes, and I'm going to build it up 3 times and then add my ink blended sentiment right on top. I just used some of those same blues that I used in the background to ink on that Good Vibes, using some darker on the edges on the top and the bottom. And now I've cut out the background with some holographic paper, and I'll stick that right on top and then create this card. For that smiley face, I'm going to make them pop right off the background using some fun foam, and that'll give it full dimension all the way around that circle. And then I'll attach the Good Vibes and let that sit. For my next card, I'm going to use this beautiful chevron die, and I die cut a whole bunch of blues in this one so that I could create a background. So I kind of have a pattern here in the colors that I'm using, and I'm going to put this together very, very quickly. Look how fast you can do this when you speed it up. And it creates just this beautiful background. I will cut around the edges so that it is all smooth on the edges, and then I'm adding those die cut happy faces, the happy and the sad face actually. So you can see here that I have created a black outline for them and some blue eyes and some black smiles. So I'm just going to attach those, make them a little bit dimensional here. And there you go, just so easy to do using the craft magic wand. And then I'll go around the edges, just adding those black frames. And to finish this off, I'm going to add some glossy accents to the eyes. That will make them dimensional, kind of clear, and I'm also adding these silver baubles to the background. That'll just finish it all off. Very easy to add, and look at this card all coming together. Here you can see the glossy accents. There you go. And then for the sentiment, I just stamped it in black. It says, "Through ups and downs, I'm here." Such a really great sentiment. I love it. For my next card, I'm going to use the stamp again, and I'm going to stamp the outline in some iconic yellow. This is a really bright yellow ink. I love it so much. By the way, if you're interested in any of these supplies, I am going to link them all below so that you can check them out. Go take a look. All right, back to the card. I really love how this turned out. I created a mask using some masking paper around those circles. We're going to turn those into faces in just a minute. But before we do that, I wanted to ink on the background. I'm using this beautiful 2-layered stencil. This is also from Erin Lee Creative, and it's a favorite of mine. I'm going to ink the first one with some mowed lawn. And you can see those, you can sort of see the mask around the circles there. I'm being a little bit careful not to go over the edge near the bottom here. This is going to be a slimline card, and this is just a 6x6 stencil, but no worries. I'm going to extend this down throughout the whole panel in just a minute. But first I'm going to place that second layer right over the top layer so I can get them lined up perfectly. And then I'll add some peacock feathers ink over the top. I really like the contrast that this gives, so it makes it turn into kind of a blue-green color. Look at that. Such a beautiful stencil. Now I'm going to turn the stencil, and I'll move this up in just a minute, so don't worry, but I turned it so it wouldn't be exactly the same design as what was up above. And I'm just going to extend that stencil down to the bottom part of this panel. So I'll do the same thing starting with the mowed lawn. Just inking all those spaces and then adding the second layer and using the peacock feathers. And there is our background. Look how pretty that is. Gorgeous stencil. Wow. So now I'm ready to remove those masks. And it's time to create our faces. Of course, I couldn't resist using that heart to make some heart eyes. So I'm going to stamp that on with some red ink. To move that over, I'm just placing my acrylic piece right over the top so I don't get some red ink where I don't want it. And then I'll pick that up with the MISTI door and stamp that down till I get just the perfect amount. I'm going to add the smiley face just using some black ink. And then for my second face, I debated a lot on which face to make, but I decided to use this cute little guy using a winky eye and an open eye and then that little tongue sticking out. I thought that was funny. So funny. So that winky eye, I saw someone use that as a kissy face also. And I thought that was brilliant. So don't be afraid to use it for different kinds of faces as well. Now I've cut out some Aloha dies, the sentiment a number of times, and I'm just going to leave one right in the paper here before I remove it so that I can ink on some color. I'm just using some yellow, orange, and pink to give this an Aloha look. I'll place it on my panel here and line those up, and you can use the negative pieces to line those letters up perfectly. I'm going to pick it all up with a piece of mint tape and glue them all down together at the same time. So this is just an easy way to add those to your card. I built it up 3 layers high, so it is a dimensional die cut sentiment. And there you go. I'm just going to leave that taped down until it dries on the panel, and then I can remove that mint tape. Of course, I had to add some embellishments. These are some beautiful lime green gems from Maker Forte. So I added those all around, and then I decided that tongue really needs to be red. So I'm just going to do some simple coloring with some pencils, and I'm using a pink and then a darker red, and I'm lightly, very lightly putting this on, and then I'll use my Gamsol to go ahead and blend that out. And look how this comes alive. So easy to do. All you do is take your blending stump and put it in your Gamsol and then blend away, and it kind of melts that wax together and creates this beautiful look. So easy. You saw how easy that was, right? So I think that tongue feels a little better now. It kind of matches the red eyes and pulls this card together. And now I can add all those embellishments. I added a few baubles as well, and they're really fun tropical colors. So that's going to finish off this card. So here's a look at all of the cards that we made today. The first one with that stencil in all of the colors and then creating those sentiment strips. The second one making a rainbow background with the rainbow stencil, adding some good vibes to this one with some holographic paper in the background and that sunglass guy. He's just too cool. This one with the chevron background, adding that glossy accents to the eyes, making them a little dimensional, and then some silver baubles for this one. And then the last one, making it a slimline card, turning it into an aloha with those faces. I mean, wouldn't you make those faces at someone who you wish was with you on your trip? I don't know. That's just the thought process that was going through my head on this one. I love how these turned out. I hope you love them too and got some inspiration. If you want to go check out this kit, it is on sale right now. An amazing price. I can't believe the price that she puts this kit at. It is really, really good with all of these included. So much to play with in this kit and lots of ideas. So hopefully you love this. If you liked the video, do give me a thumbs up. It really does help out with YouTube. And be sure to subscribe to my channel as well so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back with a lot more card making inspiration really soon. And until then, happy crafting. Enjoy these, all the feels, all the emojis. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.